Other interesting political news, you have Ron DeSantis DEI firings going viral. Now, again, the question is, where was this Ron DeSantis 6 to 8 months ago when he still had his futile attempt to run for the Republican nominee for president? Again, he seemed to shoot himself in the high-heeled boot with a 50 caliber sniper rifle because it was one of the worst campaigns I've seen in history. I mean, if you look at the poll aggregator, he started off around 33%, only about 10 points below Trump. And yet, throughout a whole year, it was like a bad stock. It just went lower and lower and lower, and he ended around 13%. So it was a myriad of bad marketing, bad advisors, listening to a lot of bad advice. And the fact that their marketing was so poor, it was almost worse than the Chevy SS, which, if you wind back the clock a couple of years, that was one of the coolest cars GM ever imported from Australia. It was a four-door V8 stick-shift performance sedan with big old Brembo brakes. It was a marvel of engineering, and it was a fun car. They basically had no advertising, so of course it failed in the United States when they subsequently imported it. They also called it the Chevy SS, which is confusing because for every other GM vehicle in the Chevrolet portfolio, that is a trim line. So if you wanted the top, top speakers, top performance, you'd buy like the Camaro SS. Then they decided to come out with a vehicle called the Chevy SS. So that was the Ron DeSantis of cars. It was a great product, did a lot of great things, but terrible to no marketing, and just fell flat on its face. I think same thing for DeSantis. I mean, he said the wrong things all the time, and he didn't go on any podcasts. He didn't do any real aggressive marketing, it seems. And again, how he didn't have a simple thing. The ideas for these politicians, like for these political campaigns, I've heard more better original ideas from podcasters than the actual DeSantis campaign staff. Perhaps they're inebriated because they're drinking Bud Light. But the fact that Ron DeSantis didn't have t-shirts and mugs and everything that simply says something like DeSantis does, and have like 2 to 3 bullet points of successful things he'd done in Florida, because again, he had a good track record, he did some great things for the state, great things for businesses, and yet, it's just terrible marketing. The fact he didn't have a t-shirt or something that says DeSantis does is beyond me. But nevertheless, now, DeSantis actually tweeted this from his X-Twitter profile, and again, he's more viral than ever. His average tweets during the campaign, he's getting between maybe 75,000 to 200,000 views on average. Yes, he did have his outliers, getting a couple million a few times, but overall, it's still fairly lackluster to say the least. Now, he's actually responding, or he did a retweet. So this is the original retweet from Florida's Voice, and Florida's Voice said, quote, "Breaking, University of Florida fires DEI staff as part of a statewide crackdown on the ideology being funded by taxpayers in higher education," unquote. And DeSantis responded, and he tweeted, "Florida is where DEI goes to die," unquote. And for him, this went ridiculously well viral. It got 1.5 million views and 32,000 likes. Which begs the question, where was this 6 months ago? Because politically speaking, DEI, or diversity, equity, inclusion, is one of the hottest topics in business and politics and culture. I mean, the lawsuits, the legal ramifications, the business hiring structures is a huge topic. I mean, it's also become a multi-billion-dollar industry with people supplying trainings and staffings based on it, and political messaging and advertising. It's a huge, politically, I think, polarizing topic as well. And this is an easy slam dunk for Ron, because again, people on the right, and I would also argue a lot of people in the middle who think people should be traded based on actually things they can directly control, like their effort, their results, not things they cannot control that they are inherently born with that they cannot change. Though it is 2024, people would probably argue you can change it. But nevertheless, this is one of the best tweets he ever had. And all he did was just respond in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letters and 3 periods for suspense. He did a ... which I kind of appreciate. But yeah, where was this? And I suspect most people in the comments will say, probably agree with me, asking, where the heck were you, 6 months ago with this? And they'll probably just give him accolades for saying, hey, you're a great governor. And some people will probably say, yeah, you probably just should just kept doing that. Now, he is termed out, so he can't run for governor again, which, again, a lot of people are speculating maybe that's why he felt he had to run. But let's have in the comments again find out. Now, Red Wave Press responded, which I would say B+ for marketing. Their profile picture is, in fact, of a red wave. However, there's no printing press, which that would be an A+. If it was a red wave and it was actually falling onto a vintage printing press, which it does age me. Think of it was like an early printer back in the day, although you weren't locked out with, proprietary ink and cartridges so that they could shut you down. But nevertheless, Red Wave Press says, quote, "Ron DeSantis is one of the best governors in America, and it's not even close. He knows how to get the conservative agenda put into place. Follow if you agree," unquote. getting 270 likes. We do have a contrarian statement right off the bat. We'll make life a little bit more interesting. Ren says, quote, oh, look, a governor celebrating the loss of jobs. I'm quoting 330 likes, which is quite a few to say the least. Now I'm curious. Let's go look at Ren really quick. Ren joined in 2019, has 1,500 followers. And it looks like she is a real person. So not just reposting for winning all free crap from Bud Light cans to coolers to gift cards. But no, it looks like... No. She's so mentally vacuous, she is praising the governor of Illinois. Okay, that kind of gives you a little bit of backstory on her. Wow. Yeah, Illinois is one of the most fascinating, corrupt places on the planet in terms of it's just totally coincidence. Every time they have a governor or mayor, they usually end up jail at the end of their career for corruption. Fascinating. And of course, they have all the jobs being lost, all the businesses leaving, all the crime especially increasing. But I'm told, like the Chicago Bears, they'll be good next year. That's a joke because statistically speaking, they've done the same thing for 87 plus years in terms of their political affiliations, their voting, and their sports balls team. I don't even remember the last time they won a sports ball Super Bowl. But I remember growing up in the Midwest, that's what I was always told. The Bears have great defense. They'll be good next year. Yeah. Again, I'm not a sports balls enthusiast, but even I know that's not happening anytime soon. Now, Peter Heldson says, quote, it's a damn shame the GOP chose the GOP guy who sells NFTs and garnished sneakers for a personal profit instead of you. I'm quoting 270 likes. Burt Macklin says, best conservative leader of our time. Thank you, getting 242 likes. Just Gus says, and where hate goes to thrive. I'm quoting 271 likes. Another contrarian statement? I thought it would be overwhelming support. This is pretty interesting. Just Gus, his profile picture, or the banner, not the individual profile, but the banner on his profile is Trump for prison. So, at least you know his political affiliation right off the bat. Going down more and more. Warren also says, to be fair, that's dark humor. They say, to be fair, Florida is where most things go to die. A little bleak there. Looks like Warren is described as a, quote, this is his profile, quote, a former never Trump Republican, now left of center Dem, probably tweeting about how awful Cheeto Jesus is, or Dodger baseball. What? I don't read DMs. That's their profile description. Or looks like they're also located in Tampa, which if you don't like the leadership, you don't like the state, why do you live there? It's beyond me. Leslie says, I thought Florida was where political aspirations go to die. I'm going to get 184 likes. You do have Don Hansen saying, hallelujah, onward for kicking Marxism out of America, unquote, getting 15 likes. Let's see here. Lucky says, quote, someone was literally just arrested in Florida for doing burnouts on a rainbow crosswalk, unquote, getting 63 likes. So it looks like there's more and more contrarian statements. I thought DeSantis would get more love than this. Vance Murphy said, quote, where was this type of talk when you were campaigning, unquote, getting 14 likes? And yeah, exactly. Richard Nixon, though definitely not the real one, he says, quote, what about the man being charged for a hate crime for doing a burnout on the pride flag in Palm City County? Can you help him out? Getting 14 likes. Team USA says, quote, thank you, sir. Florida is the last free and fair state, unquote. Getting 82 likes. Just insulting to say the least. Florida is awesome. However, it doesn't hold a candle to the best state in the union, the former country known as Texas. Or if you're boring, you just pronounce it Texas. Which, again, that's not as exciting. You have to pronounce it the fun way. And I'm a little remorse I didn't actually go up and pick my cowboy hat off the shelf. But nevertheless, you get the idea. Geek Dad says, quote, a lot of retirees too, just saying, getting 36 likes. Built to Last says, quote, darn right, winning, unquote, getting 19 likes. Matthew Arthur Gray says, quote, of all the things you decide, this is where to put your energy, getting 20 likes. Move the Overton window left says, quote, and Gilead begins to rise, getting 21 likes. Lucas Gage says, good job, Ron, getting 20 likes. Valentina Gomez says, quote, Missouri will soon join you, Governor. You're invited to when I get sworn in as Secretary of State and declare an end of DEI, LGBTQ, and critical race theory. I'm getting 74 likes. Florida Mike, never again Trump, says, quote, DEI has no place in America today. I'm also glad I live in Florida instead of some wacky state like New York or California, and quote, getting 57 likes. Michael Danvier says, quote, where truth and integrity go to die, unquote, getting 62 likes. So a lot of contrarian statements. It almost seems like a 50-50 ratio. Let's see, Dust says, quote, University of Florida is also set up an expedited process to hire back the same DEI staff under neutral job descriptions, very likely with small bonuses for the trouble, proving once again Ron DeSantis is a bum, unquote, getting 22 likes. Chris Nelson says, quote, thank you for fighting against this twisted ideology, Governor DeSantis, but more importantly, thank you for winning, unquote, getting 55 likes, which he's won some things, but he certainly did not win the Republican nominee for the presidential election. Let's see. Nian Darthel has a picture of Ron DeSantis sitting on an empty grave that he allegedly dug, and it looks like the tombstone or the headstone says woke, getting 33 likes. So it looks like, yeah, about 50-50 ratio. Given his campaign, and well, yeah, I'm actually surprised. I thought it'd be at least maybe 60 to 70% positive comments, but I mean, we went through most of them. If anything, maybe it's 55% negative. I mean, and there are a lot of comments. I mean, it went viral. It got a lot of attention. I mean, again, it got 2.1 thousand comments, but only 30, and it did get 32,000 likes, which again for DeSantis is pretty darn good, and 1.5 million views, which is quite a few to say the least. And the statistics were 48 hours after, so there's plenty of time to gather gather a majority of the views. Very similar to YouTube videos. Usually, the first 24 hours is where you get an overwhelming majority of the views, and then after that, they kind of just trickle in. Same thing for Twitter and most social media interactions. So, again, actually, I was actually a little surprised to get more of a higher ratio of likes, but again, I think the DEI as well as immigration are going to be some of the top topics as we go into the upcoming presidential election. Granted, again, Ron's not running anymore, but I think it is going to be one of the biggest topics in business and politics and culture in 2024. And again, from a legal perspective, it'll also be fascinating to see how this is taken up on the legal altar, so to say, because again, they're also basing people different based on their race, and that's not legal in the United States. So again, I'm surprised it is increasing in popularity. You see it a lot in corporate America as well. But let me know, do you think, I mean, we'll just take it going up to the Supreme Court to get shot down? I mean, you did have the Supreme Court in 2023 telling colleges they are no longer allowed to admit people and discriminate against people based on their race. Now, unfortunately, some of those colleges are just ignoring that. But let me know, do you think this will be another one of those big topics like immigration where we just debate for decades? Do you think there will actually be a resolution one way or the other? As always, it'd be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, try to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you could click that button, I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a thumbs up or thumbs down or a comment is a great way to give me some more additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.